Maverick 100.9, Aggie Lands Country Alternative. It's Corliss. I've been trying to get this guy on with me for far too long. We finally made it work. Mr. Jason Young is here. Hi, Jason.
Hey, how's it going?
It is so good to see you. We have so much to talk about. You've got new music. Now, if anybody is familiar with the Cross Rags and Young that we have played here on Maverick, this is the Young. And
yes,
now you're doing your own solo project. How did that come about?
Well, I've been doing solo stuff for a long time, and that's kind of what got me into the Cross Rags and Young band.
Right.
And so we've been releasing some songs to Texas, just a couple. And I was working with Ed Spacek and doing that. And we did a record called 900 Miles. And I just released vinyl at the time. And I had ran into someone because I don't know if anybody knew this, but Randy Ragsdale would come and fill in for me every once in a while. My drummer, couldn't make it. I called Randy, hey, you want to come drum? And so we started talking about maybe putting that together. And so he called Grady, and I knew Grady, but I didn't know him that well at the time. And so he called him and said, hey, would you want to do this? And Grady was all about it. And so we all had a breakfast together. And next thing you know, so I was pushing my 900 Miles record, and which I dumped a ton of money into.
Right.
And all of a sudden this Cross Rags Young thing. And so I kind of just stopped with that record and moved forward with Cross Rags and Young. So we just kind of started moving forward with that. And I had just a little tidbit. We said, okay, let's do this band. What are we going to do? So I ended up writing with the Jason Young band, this song called Family Name. And it sat on the shelf. Like I wanted to put it on 900 Miles and never made it on the record. And they always say there's a reason for everything happening. I think this was kind of
that was totally the reason.
Well, what was funny was I had the song, and when we decided to do this band before I was writing for it, or all of us were going to get together and start writing for this project, I said, hey, I've got this really cool song I want to just send to you guys. And so I sent it to them, and they loved it, first off. Secondly, Randy goes, you know that line? There's a line in it that says, I was raised red dirt. And I was raised in church, taught wrong from right. And Randy goes, so Randy's the genius that goes, hey, man, could you change that to I was raised red dirt?
And I that said, is such an iconic line in the song.
It makes the song for me. What's funny is I'm in a group of motorcyclists, and we're all on our motorcycles. My wife rides, and we have our helmet. So our little microphones are in our helmet. And I keep going, I was raised red dirt.
Yeah.
I kept saying it over and over and over. I'm like singing the line that Randy just texted on my phone. And I'm singing it on my bike, like singing this. So I keep singing it. And I remember Carrie going, what are you singing? And I go, Randy's new line for the song. And it just made the song like big to me. Like this one line changed that song to me so much.
That is huge.
So then we all got together we got together in the studio and tweaked it out with Grady, gave some lyric changes, and we all just kind of tweaked it out a little bit more. And it just became that first single for us. And we all knew in the studio that was going to be it. It'd be our first song.
And what an incredible success you guys had. I mean, putting you with the guys from Ragweed is just, it was genius to say the least. And I'm a huge fan of it. But throughout meeting you and meeting the guys, I've also become such a big fan of yours. And I am really excited to finally hear your solo stuff, because you and I have been talking. You have been a solo artist for a very long time. So now we're doing the push. And this one's called Pour. And that's the first one you're releasing to us. Tell us about that.
When we got together to write this, my buddy Dennis, we went over to his shop, a very inspirational little place. And we go over to this place, and we're all sitting there writing the Jason Young band. And Stephen Adams, these guys are also a part of Cross Rags and Young. So I kind of brought my band into this.
Okay.
Video. And everybody but the drummer, obviously.
Right.
And because of Randy. And so we got together, and we all who wrote Family Name, we all got together to write this one. And this was actually the first time this group that wrote Family Name got together to write this one. And we were going a different direction than what Pour was. And I just remembered, I'm sitting there, and Stephen Adams, who produces all the Cross Rags and Young, he produces all Jason Young. He plays guitar for both bands. He can play drums, bass. This guy is the most talented dude I've ever met in my life. Randy Grady will tell you the same thing. This guy is just a genius. And I think I've always said it from day one, everybody's going to know this guy's name at some point.
Oh,
he is amazing. So we're sitting there, and he goes, I don't remember where it came from. I think we were all kind of venting about whole COVID thing, us musicians, when we lost so much, we couldn't play shows, everything got cut off. And our booking agents are like, hey, give it another month. Give it another month. Well, that turned into like a year or two.
Yeah.
So we're like, you know, we all had to get real jobs and like try to like do anything we could as musicians to survive. And so we're sitting there, and I remember it's always in my head. That's been a rough 2 years for a lot of people in this music industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I remembered Steven going, but I'm poor. He said, I'm poor. And he sings the lyric. And I was like, well, there's your song. And I go, let's write that. Let's write about like struggling with money.
Because don't we all?
Yeah. And a lot of people won't talk about it. Some people do. And I was like, let's just do it. Let's have fun with it. And at the time, and this is before the bass player died from ZZ Top, but I really wanted to kind of ZZ Top a sound, you know, like I'm a big ZZ Top fan, love ZZ Top. So I was sitting there like, can we get it kind of rocking, you know? And so they started playing it, and this song it was written like within an hour and a half, 2 hours, we had it all done. And we were all playing. So we had a little makeshift drum kit and a bunch of acoustics and acoustic bass. And we're just all sitting around. I think he had an electric bass on. We're all sitting around. We're just writing, and it just kind of spilled out. So it just came out. And we were like, all right, let's roll with it.
So what we're going to be listening to here is basically going to rock.
I think so. I think
that's your sound.
It's a rock.
That's your deal.
Well, yeah, I will say this. Jason Young, if you listen to 900 Miles, I've released 3 or 4 songs, Texas radio. I think my top song went to like 28. So it kind of went in the 20s. I never kind of broke in the door till Cross-Rags and Young got put together. But I think the one thing Cross-Rags and Young and Rainey and Grady kind of helped me do was find my sound. Like, I've got a Southern rock voice, but I was trying to be more, you know, maybe more clean, trying to be more that Nashville kind of sound.
But that's not you. You rock.
And it's not me. And I think Randy and Grady showed me that. They were like, this is where you need to be. And that's why I love Cross-Rags and Young music.
Yeah.
I love, you know, it's, you know, a lot of us are writing it. We're still performing it, but it's just got this vibe, and they bring an energy to it that's just different. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I wanted to capture that in this kind of a thing.
I love
they inspire me. I love those guys. They're amazing people.
Me too. Well, I'm happy to debut the other side to everybody. Y'all, you're listening for the very first time on Maverick, Jason Young Band and Poor. Due to copyright, Brian Broadcasting is not licensed to play music in podcast form, but we do urge you on your favorite streaming and downloading services, find this music and support these artists. Today's interview continues now. You just heard it here first on Maverick 100.9, the Jason Young Band and Poor. I am joined by Jason Young. We've been chatting about you. You've had such an incredible career. You've done just about everything in the music business you can do. And now we've got a new solo record here. Does that mean an album's on the way as well?
I don't know. I think we're going to sit tight for a little bit. You know, Cross-Rags and Young, we're going to get together in January and start doing a new single and pushing that out there and touring.
We can expect more Cross-Rags.
Yeah, Cross-Rags and Young isn't done. Yeah, we'll be around. But Jason Young, we thought, well, we had some downtime, and we decided, well, let's just do a Jason Young Band single and just put it out there and do some shows. We're going to go out and do some shows. And so we're going to just continue doing what we're doing. And you haven't heard the last of Cross-Rags and Young, so it's still around. Well, and I can't wait for that. Those shows are so fun. Like, I have so much fun playing with those guys.
Right. And I love y'all either way. I love each and every one of you. Fun story we got to tell for everybody on the air here. You and our meeting was very special to me because of the guys that you play with in Cross-Rags and Young. Everybody listening has heard my stories on how I got into radio, and a lot of that was connected to ragweed. So when I met Jason, I got to sit down with not just him, but those founding members of Cross Canadian Ragweed and tell them my story and why, because we all met at an award show. Why I was even there, why I even walked away with a trophy was all because of these men that I was sitting in front of. And it was very overwhelming for me. And because of that experience, you've become such a special, inspirational person in my life as well.
Well, I remember that day, and Rainey and Grady do too. We talked about it afterwards. So, and then that's what was so weird. Cool. Well, you know what was weird? No, not in a bad way. We didn't talk about it in a bad way. It was very sweet and very fun. And I remembered being in the lobby of that hotel with you and Ed Spacek and the guys. But I remember that night, that's what I told you after the music awards. I said it was like listening to, it was so cool for me as a fan of music to listen to your full story of, because you told that during that meeting, right? You remember
Right.
that? Okay. And then
then
that
I
night,
won
you're
an award
winning an
that night,
award
yeah.
for what you're doing. And I said that night afterwards, it was Ed Spacek and me, and I think my wife, and you, and I don't remember who else was standing around, but I remember saying,
I remember meeting your wife.
how awesome was it for you? It's like a full like circle. And we got to kind of see it that day. In like a day, we saw
still
it.
Doesn't seem real. It doesn't seem real that the guys you work with, know who I am. Why would they ever know who I am? Except for my weird little sob story about like, man, you guys are my heroes. Oh my God.
No, it was great. And that meant a lot to them too,
My life is shocking every day. And nobody knows the simplicity of the fact that I am just a little girl that loves music. That's it. There's nothing intricate to it. I just love music. And for some reason, people felt like it was necessary to celebrate that. Is weird.
Totally. And I think that's great.
Well, I'm always going to love you for the love that you've shown me. And once again, huge fan. Y'all, please follow not just the Jason Young Band, but Cross Rags and Young. They have so much music coming your way. You can download it. You can stream it. Go see them on tour. And if they get anywhere near here, you're going to see me there fangirling out. Jason, we appreciate you so much.
Oh, well, thank you for hanging